It's Monday, February 6th, 2023, and I'm Katie O'Donnell, Vice Chair of the Planning Board. Mike Viviano, our chair, can't be with us tonight, so I'll be chairing tonight's meeting. So I'd like to make a motion to open tonight's meeting, and that'll take a roll call vote. So Fred?
I'll make a motion to start tonight's meeting.
And then your name, and yes, and I.
Fred Monaco. I'll make a motion to start tonight's meeting.
Well, I motioned, so you're seconding, right?
One second.
Okay.
And then say aye.
Sorry, Kate. I, Fred Monaco, second the motion.
Okay. And then and you're voting yes on the motion too, right?
Yes, I am.
All right, Kevin?
Kevin Cantwell, yes.
Nick Papastratis?
Nick Papastratis, aye.
And all right, and Scott's not with us tonight.
Scott won't be here tonight.
Okay. So let me see here. Sorry, I'm just moving my screen around so I can look at the agenda at the same time.
Progress Way lot release is the first one.
Yes. All right. And then I do see a couple of folks here, and Juniper Road is officially being continued, right?
Well,
Or not continued, but we don't have.
The decision is not ready yet, so we were going to hold it until the next meeting, 2/27/23.
Okay. All right. So I think I remember Mr. Claffey being a Juniper Road
Yes.
a butter. So just with that, Juniper Road, we're still waiting for some information. So our decision for that is going to be at our next meeting.
And that's, we're waiting on the revised plan so we can finish the decision.
Okay. So just in case anybody's waiting around for that. But
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Same to you.
All right. And so first one is the Progress Way lot release.
Do you see the screen?
Yeah.
So the area highlighted in yellow was part of the Progress Way property. It was originally attached to lots 3 and lots 4. It is being attached now to the parcel to its right, which is, let me zoom in a little closer. 123 Commerce Way, which is that computer building. So it's being attached to a lot that already has an existing building, which is why the staff is okay with releasing this lot. But it's not a separate buildable lot.
Any questions from the board? Any questions from the public?
Yeah.
With that, I'll make a motion to approve the lot release for Progress Way. Is there a second?
Second, Kevin Cantwell.
All right. Kevin seconded, then roll call vote. Fred?
Fred Monaco, aye.
Kevin?
Kevin Cantwell, aye.
Nick?
Nick Papastratis, aye.
And Katie O'Donnell, aye.
So I'll need board members to come in and sign the Form E when you get a chance.
Okay. Right.
Next one up is Birch Road A&R.
All right. Is there anyone here to present that, or are you presenting it, Greg?
I guess I'm presenting it. So you have 2 lots in the dashed outline. One's pink, one's orange. The area that's a tiny little sliver, and I'll zoom in. This tiny little sliver in here that's solid orange is being moved over from lot 711 over to lot 709. And the 244 square feet that's being transferred is what's denoted as lot 710A. This is a land court plan, which is why you have all the different, there's actually different colors on it. It doesn't show on the print that I used. But what they realized is because of the shape of 709, where they were thinking of building the house, it would have been a side yard problem. So they've added a little more room so they could fit the house further back in the property. This is a previously approved A&R for the other lots. This is not creating a new buildable lot. It's just a transfer of a sliver of land to make 709 easier for them to construct the house. So staff recommends the board sign.
All right. Any board questions? Any questions from the public? All right. With that, I'll make a motion to approve the A&R plan for Birch Road.
I'll second the
Kevin
motion.
Cantwell.
Fred
Okay,
Monaco.
Fred.
All right. Fred was louder.
That's all right. I was gonna let Fred go. I just wanted to make sure he was gonna go this time first or whatever.
Thank you, Kevin.
No
All right.
problem,
So
Kevin.
roll call. Fred,
Fred Monaco, aye.
Kevin,
Kevin Cantwell, aye.
Nick,
Nick Papastratus, aye.
and Katie O'Donnell, aye. All right. Next up is the A&R plan for 132 Highland Street.
Yep, and Amy is here. Amy, I have made you a co-host so you can share a screen if you'd like.
Okay, I was just gonna turn my video towards my presentation. Is that okay?
That's
Okay.
fine.
So, when I dropped off, the A&R plan and, chatted with, the planning board secretary, she showed me a field card that has, something like this. You guys see the picture? It has a barn to the left right here. And then there's a cottage back there. Can you see this, or am I not properly showing you the video?
They can see photos.
So do you see this cottage right here? And there's a barn. So one of the field cards, they were stating that maybe the barn was the cottage, but that's the same angle that I just took a week ago. And it's the barn right here and the cottage back here. Okay. So on this plan, I also have the house, the main front house. That's the 3-bedroom built in 1938. I have the barn. And then I have the cottage back here. The reason that this barn that I was saying had that point of view that the field card might have been confusing, that building might have been considered the cottage. This is the interior of that. It has never been anything besides a barn. So I have the doors closed, opened so that you can see inside, and showing you that inside has never been finished, okay? That exists here on the plan. So you have a house, you have the garage, there's an old patio here that used to be something back in the day. And then you go further back to this yellow highlighted area, that's the cottage. The interior is, so again, the side of the barn showing the house in the back. This is a bird's eye view with a house, a barn, a patio, and the cottage. Again, that view I showed you. But here we have the bathroom. I have bigger ones here, just in case, because of the zoom. I have the bathroom that's in that cottage in the way back right here. I have a kitchen with a clearly 1950s stove, if you can see that. Another angle of the kitchen. And a bedroom, okay? On here, this is a current map from your town. Map D17, you have the house, you have the patio, you have the barn, and you have the cottage out in the back. And then I have deeds that go back to show what it was in 1949. I gave a copy to Greg because that's going to be a little bit hard to show you with this Zoom, but he does have them that he can send them over to you. And then I have the field cards. I'm sorry if I'm making you dizzy. I hope I'm doing a proper job. If I'm not, please let me know. So this one here is 132 Highland Street. And it says, this parcel contains 5.42 acres of land, mainly classified as multi-housing, with an old style building built about 1938, having primarily wood shingle exterior and asphalt roof, 1 unit with 1 bath, 6 rooms and 3 bedrooms. Okay, so that's the front house, and you can see that that was a picture from back in the time period. And it states down here in the land section that it's multi-housing as well. When you move on to 132 Highland Street, you also have the cottage. This parcel contains 5.42 acres, so it's the same acreage, multi-housing, cottage, year-round building built about 1950, having primarily wood shingles exterior and asphalt roof cover with 1 bathroom and 3 rooms with 1 bedroom. And again, down in the land section, it says multi-housing, multifamily housing, sorry. So, and then a picture of the cottage out in the back. So what I'm trying to say is that there's 2 buildings, 2 homes on 1 lot, and it's stated in deeds, on maps, and in your own assessor's field cards. So that is why we're using A&R with an 81L. Any questions?
Sorry, I was lost my screen there for a second, had to unmute. Thank you. It was really difficult to see some of the photos. I could see that you had them and everything, but it is a really difficult medium to be able to actually see what they are. Greg, can you talk? Are there any board questions right now?
Can I
Greg,
give you a chance to show you the pictures again, please?
well, maybe if Greg talks a little bit about it, and then if we have questions, we can have you show specific ones. Okay.
Can you see the screen?
Yep.
So this is the overall lot. It's outlined in pink. And the area in the front, what they're doing is they're creating lot 1 under the 81L, which is structures, 2 existing structures. We're not asking for proof that it was a residence. Both of these lots would have 103 feet of frontage, which is not the minimum required. Lot 1 does not have 1 acre in size as well. Staff is not disagreeing that there is currently in green out in that little green building out there is a year-round cottage. But staff has not been able to prove that that structure was there prior to 1956, January 23rd, which is the date of Subdivision Control Act. What staff, and when I'm talking about staff, that's the assistant planner. We do not have a secretary, Karen Horn. The 2 buildings over in lot 1 that are blue, we clearly can see that they were in existence prior to 1956. But we can't determine that that green building was in place. So under A&R, Planning Board, you can approve, deny, or take no action. If you take no action, after 21 days, it goes to the town clerk and the town clerk signs it. After multiple discussions with Amy, staff's recommendation was to take no action on the A&R, let the 21-day clock expire. They can go to the town clerk and then they can proceed with their A&R with Registry of Deeds. The one difference is it would not have the planning board signatures on something that we could not say, yes, we know that that building was there prior to January 23rd, 1956.
Thank you. Let's see here. Do any other board members have questions?
So the building in question, can you go back to the screen, Craig? Back to your screen.
Yep, just 1 second. Yep.
So the building in question is the green one?
Yes.
Okay. I was
Yep.
trying to figure out from here.
And over time, there have been multiple buildings on the property. Some were
Yep.
described as lean-tos, some were sheds, some were stables. I mean, there's been various things on there.
Hey, Greg, there's no issue with the new lot line proximity to the garage or the existing structure?
It's odd that they're splitting the lot the way they're splitting, but again, that's, we don't know the rationale and we're not questioning the rationale. We were just, the request was to split the lot based on the 81L clause that says two existing structures prior to subdivision control being passed in the town.
Okay.
And Greg, sorry, can you refresh me on 81L, the frontage being less than the required frontage? It seems like we're taking a lot that currently has proper frontage and now making two lots that don't have proper frontage.
Which you could, under the 81L clause of the two structures in existence prior to subdivision control law. But yes, typical A&R, what you're looking for is you have proper frontage and you have proper area.
But in this case, because of the date, I guess it is exempt from frontage and zoning setbacks.
If it was, yeah, if it was
Yeah.
clear that the structures were, so all three structures would need to be shown as in existence
Right.
prior to that date.
Okay.
So again, the board could deny, which we're not recommending, approve, or take no action, and it follows to the town clerk and then can get filed at the registry of deeds. So there is no physical harm done to the applicant. It's just you guys are not signing off on this as these structures were all in existence prior to 1956, and that you have no concerns with the lot frontage or other issues.
Okay. So Amy, I know that you're holding up the the assessor's cards. I know that I'm inclined to go with the planning staff's recommendation on this to not take action. Because I know that while the assessor's records, you know, they aren't, we try to have them as complete as possible in the town, but I would not take those as evidence, as strong enough evidence. And I'm sure that Greg and Karen have taken a close look at it. What does the rest of the board think?
I agree with you, Katie. I think there's still some unanswered things that we would like to see, but I don't want to hold the thing up either, but I don't want to have, say that we saw it, that we approved it when there's things that we didn't see, or, things we didn't really clarify to our satisfaction or what we need.
Okay.
Yeah, Katie, I think no action on this from the
Yeah,
planning
no,
board.
I vote no action, Katie.
All right. So,
What about Kevin?
I'm fine with that reasoning as presented by the staff.
Okay.
all right. So with that, I guess if we're not taking action, do we just move to the next agenda item? Greg, can you advise me here?
Yeah, you could do that.
Okay. All right. Okay. So thank you for the presentation on that, but we're not going to take any action at this time, and we're going to move on to our next agenda item.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next up on here is I have 965 to 985 Plain Street, which is continued. So we need to take a vote to continue that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion to continue 965 to 985 Plain Street to February 27th, 2023. Is there a second?
Second, Fred Monaco.
Okay, roll call vote. Fred,
Fred Monaco, aye.
Kevin,
Kevin Cantwell, aye.
Nick,
Nick Papastratus, aye.
and Katie O'Donnell, aye. And next up is Juniper Road, which we mentioned earlier. That decision is not going to be, we're waiting on some information, so it won't be ready until the 27th as well. We don't need to take a vote on that because we already closed the public hearing, correct?
Correct.
Sorry. My dog is chewing on something that sounds a little suspect. All right, so board and staff reports.
Let's hold for a minute and we'll get the other two votes out of the way. You have 2 sets of minutes if you guys are ready to do those.
Oh, sure.
One of them is 1/9/23, and the other one is December 5th, 2022.
Okay, so make a motion to approve the minutes of 1/9/23 and December 5th, 2022. Is there a second?
Katie, I can't vote on the January 9th meeting because I wasn't there. So I can vote on the December meeting, which I was. That's what they tell me in other committees I'm on.
Well, you can vote on it if you read them, Fred, but I'll second Katie anyway. So I'll second him, Kevin.
All right.
Cantwell.
I read them.
So we'll do a roll call. So Fred, you want to vote? Or do you want to just abstain from this one?
Yeah, I think that's the way. That's the
let him
court, Robert rules. Excuse me.
All right, Kevin,
He was informed.
Kevin Cantwell, aye.
Nick,
Nick Papastratus, aye.
Katie O'Donnell, aye. Okay, motion passes. And now board and staff reports.
So it looks like the public meeting that we're scheduled to have for the Economic Development Master Plan update next Wednesday for the PMUD industrial and B2 zone west of Furnace Street and the downtown will be more exciting than possibly the Brant Rock meeting. That is because we have received a letter today that there are individuals or represented by attorneys that are upset with the town for not submitting its plan on how we're going to address the MBTA communities. That deadline passed last week. We were holding off because we knew we were not, meaning the town, we were holding off because we knew we were not filing for any grants this year that are covered by the MBTA communities. And the town administrator and I wanted to have public discussion before we identified an area that is going to be considered rezoned for MBTA communities, which is the 15 unit per acre by right. So that meeting could be a little more exciting than our typical meetings. You guys don't need to attend. If you'd like to attend, you could, or we won't be Zoom, but you can watch it afterwards. It will be taped. We're also having some difficulties, continuing difficulties up on Adelaide. I've had a lot of discussions with a person with one of the lots that has not put in the retaining wall that was approved by special permit and also required by the Conservation Commission. And we have not heard from Greg Gibbs on the installation of the monitoring wells for the WRPD. And without the monitoring wells, we can't have nitrogen loading reports. So Greg Gibbs is trying to sell lots 1 and lots 5 to individuals. Those 2 lots have not been released from the covenant. And when we're asked questions, we provide information on some difficulties with those lots. One of them, meaning lot 1, is not to be built on until there's a connection to municipal sewer, which is some years out at the moment. DPW is aware that we do have to do something about the nitrogen loading in the Webster Street wells, but there is nothing currently prepared by DPW, and it would also take town meeting votes to provide funds. So Adelaide seems to be, we will be talking with Bob Galvin, and there will be additional things that we will have to do about the Adelaide subdivision. But I just want to let you guys know that we're having difficulties, and it does not look like Greg Gibbs is going to follow through on some of the things that he was required to do as part of his Water Resource Protection District special permit, his subdivision approval, or his filling of land special permit that he received.
Hey, Greg, good to follow up on that. Is Greg not building all the lots that are being sold?
He has sold several lots to outside parties, which is why we're having some trouble with retaining walls now.
I see. Okay.
So that's it on the board staff reports. Just figured you should know those two things are out there.
Thanks, Greg. Sorry. That is frustrating, but thanks for keeping us updated on Adelaide. Anyone else from the board have anything to add? All right.
Nope.
With that, I will make a motion to adjourn tonight's planning board meeting. Do I have a second?
Second, Fred Monaco.
Roll call vote. Fred?
Fred, aye.
Kevin?
Kevin Cantwell, aye.
Nick Papastratus, aye.
Katie O'Donnell, aye. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good
Thanks.
night.
Bye.
Yeah, good night, everybody.